Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I'm going to get into the comment section. We're going to see what you guys are interested about, and I will do my best to answer 3 comments from 3 videos. Sometimes I go down a rabbit hole because there's something that grabs my attention, but we'll try and grab 1 comment from 3 different videos, and we'll see where that leads us. If you're new to my channel, my name is Dwayne Cunningham. I go by Infidel1258, and you can call me 12. On this channel, we talk about Splinterlands all day, every day, because it's changed my life, and I think it can change yours. So let's get into it. I haven't pre-looked at the content, or the comments rather. I know what I've recently covered on a variety of topics, so I imagine I have some sense of where the direction of this might go, but I have not pre-recorded or pre-planned my comments here. Jason Jenkins 6373 dropped the comment on on today's video, I think, where I talk about Our Time Is Coming. And in that video, it's like a 30-minute video. I'm really proud of this video. So if you haven't watched it yet, please go watch it. I think it's indicative of at least where I am at with Splinterlands and cryptocurrency broadly. And I don't know if I'm right about all the calls I'm making, but I am confident about the calls I'm making. And I'm not sharing it to sell you on my calls. But I want, if you watch this content, if you subscribe to the channel, if you've been with me for years, I assume you care to know where my head's at. And this is it. It's like, in a nutshell, I see a bull market forming for broader cryptocurrency. Altcoins are going to have their time in the sun. Usually Bitcoin runs first, then altcoins. Splinterlands will have a piece of that pie. That's my view. And so I've positioned myself for years through both my money, investment, and my time and attention to accumulate assets for a reason, because I think they will appreciate wildly at one point in the future. And I think that future actually might be really soon. And I see a comment from Jenkins who is all like, it's so funny how he goes, Bitcoin goes up 35,000 around 15%, but SPS stuck at 1.4 cents. And I assume, there's a lot unsaid in a comment like that. I assume he's, it's a jab at how SPS has not gone, but Bitcoin is rolling. And that's like exactly the video. Like in that video, the 30-minute video, I highlight in the middle of the video, I highlight 2 or 3 comments from 2 or 3 different people. And, the thing about a moment like this, where Bitcoin is going, but altcoins haven't yet really gone. Yes, some of them have, like 5 or 10 of them have, but we haven't seen a true altcoin market like we saw in 2016, 2017, where like every coin went. We haven't seen that in years. Even 2020, 2021, whenever that was, when we had Bitcoin go to 68, what we saw was maybe 5 or 10 coins like Doge, Litecoin, a few others. I can't remember even which ones. A select few went, but it was nothing like before. So either altcoins are dead and the narrative around Bitcoin is the only coin is true, and that's proving itself to be so, or we are still watching the outwork of the interruption of the bear market around, SEC lawsuits and C19, etc. There was a lot of things in the marketplace that caused a monkey wrench that even affected the stock market. And so maybe we're seeing this prolonged end to what that was, where we will now see Bitcoin come into a retracement level and then altcoins have their moment. But people like Jason Jenkins want to point fingers at things like SPS or other altcoins and say, you haven't gone and you're never going to go. But people like Jason Jenkins want to look at Bitcoin in a moment like this, where it's gone and it always leads. It's always led. When there is an altcoin season, altcoins always follow. But people like Jenkins and people like the commenters from that video, they want to point at a moment like this where altcoins haven't yet pumped as Bitcoin has, and to them it's somehow surprising. And I don't know if it's surprising or if maybe it's like, it's a bit of a jab at SPS and Splinterlands because of the fact that maybe you were here when SPS was $1 and you bought hard, or 70, 80 cents, at 50 cents, you bought again, you bought all the way down, and now you're feeling, burnt. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not trying to, again, I don't know Jenkins' situation, but I see a tension and an emotional response when I read comments like this, where it's like, are you upset at Bitcoin pumping, or are you upset that SPS hasn't? And my view is that why would SPS lead the market? It shouldn't. They never do. Altcoins don't. Especially micro caps, and SPS is a micro cap, like a small cap coin. So I'm just saying, I'm confident, man. I'm confident. I think this is an interesting moment in time. And if you, and something I don't touch in this video, which I'll expand on really quickly now for just food for thought for you, is as we go into, US federal election cycle, like it's 2024, that's when it's happening. And, we're a year away from it, like 13 months away from that happening, almost exactly 12 months away, actually, because it's November 4th of 2024. And the last year of a presidential campaign is always the fireworks. You're going to start to see promises. You're going to see more debates. You're going to see, campaign runs if the candidates are healthy enough to do so, jab intended. But you're going to see more and more promises happen. And what does that mean? It actually means money that's going to be printed to accommodate those promises. And that happens in every country. It happens in Canada. I'm not American. It happens in Canada. I know it happens in America. I follow your guys' cycle. And so you're going to see promises of erasure of student debt. You're going to see promises of, Ford just fell below very key, technical points on the chart. Ford can't go under. Ford's an American, standard, automotive standard. Like they will be, or to the extent that America is capable of doing it, federal funds will come to the aid of big companies such as Ford. They did for Boeing. They've done it for banks. They've done it for, like, at every moment where there's been financial turmoil, they've thrown money at the system. And now this is not good. Don't get me wrong. It's not good that this will happen, but it is good for the market because it means a huge influx of new funding. And that is part of, in the background of what we've already seen with TA around Bitcoin, what we've already known about the historicity about how altcoins follow Bitcoin. We have this in the back of our minds. We recognize that there's an election coming. Promises come with elections because they want to buy your vote. And then that means money printing, and money printing will flow into the economy because people they know what inflation is doing. They know how it's gutting your savings, your future savings. And people are going more and more out onto the sort of risk curve, whether it's leveraging up and buying multiple houses, or whether it's, playing, the stock market, or buying Bitcoin when you get your stimmy checks. Like, these things will continue to happen to a greater and greater degree because people understand that, one, the money was quote unquote free. Two, the system is kind of rigged against them. Unless they go leverage and they go out hard in sort of these high risk maneuvers, they are never going to see a return on it. And I'm not advocating that. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying this is the writing on the wall to me. And I wrap it together with the TA around Bitcoin and how alts always follow Bitcoin. And I just go, yeah, Jason, you're right. Bitcoin is doing great. And I'm pleased for everyone who holds BTC. But if you want to say SPS is stuck at 4 cents or 1.4 cents, as if that's, I guess, surprising, I just don't share your surprise. To me, it's just this is the standard, man. This is totally expected. And having said that, unlike previously across years of me covering this topic, I've never really felt that these things were close. I've never said that. I've always said across a long enough time horizon. That's a phrase I've used so many times. I've said 4 or 5 years is because usually that's a cycle. But here I am actually saying, no, I think something happening right now. And I don't know if that's today, tomorrow. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying it could be 6 weeks, 6 months, and time matters. It sucks to be too early to a party. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, ape. I'm saying I've built my account across years of effort because I believe, and I'm starting to really see the groundwork. And I think many of you are too, because I see it in the views, I see it in the comments, I see it in the likes. Thank you, by the way. But I also see it in the tension from some of the negative comments, because it's like, you see it too, I think, Jason. And maybe you feel like maybe you wrote SPS down and then sold, and now part of you, I don't know, man. If you see this, please tell me. Do you feel honestly that a part of you is just upset that it might actually happen for SPS and you sold too early, and now you might be wrong twice? You bought too early, you sold, and now and having sold is itself a second problem if SPS pumps. Oof. I feel like that might sting a little, but man, got to be real here. Why is everyone pointing at how alts haven't pumped yet Why is everyone pointing to Bitcoin as if it's the only coin? It's never been the only coin. All these other coins have always followed, and I think they will again. I love how Charles gets in there and you're still here and watch every day. Charles, for sure. What's your point though? And Bananas Hops, let's see what he has to say. Yeah, that's what he mentioned in the video. Did you watch it? Bitcoin leads, altcoins follow. There are reasons SPS wouldn't be rising now too. People need DEC in the game, so they're selling SPS. Yeah, Bananas gets it. This is it, man. So anyways, Jason, thank you for the comment. If that sounded harsh, dude, hear me. I just want people, including yourself, to recognize that there is a tension in this moment because Bitcoin is pumping, but others aren't. And whether it's SPS or XRP or LTC or whatever, ADA or whatever you're into, it's not soaring like Bitcoin has been soaring, except for maybe 20 different coins. And what I'm saying is it's going to get harder and harder to fight against some of the emotion that I see in your comment, which is that, hey, Bitcoin's the only one. Bitcoin's the only one that's pumping. Why are we looking at SPS? That's, because there's an implication that SPS is an S coin in your comment. And I would say, okay, if that's how you feel, you shouldn't touch it. But man, that's not the writing on the wall that I see for all the reasons in the video, plus all that I outlined here today. Thanks, Jason. This is a bit of a side. I haven't seen this recently, so let's talk on this. Vishal drops a comment on a video where I said waiting for the moon with 1258, and now in that I was talking more about these ideas that I actually think we are looking at something special with Land 1.5 coming, with Rebellion being what it is. I think there's a real prospect for the flywheel to take effect, plus all this altcoin season I just alluded to. So I've got a lot of confidence moving into the next 6 months to 18 months, and it could even be 6 weeks. To me, that's the window, 6 weeks to 18 months. And I hate that it's that broad. I wish I could be more specific, but for me, I don't think anyone can truly. And frankly, whether it is 6 weeks away or 18 months away, I'm going to do that. My plan changes nothing because I'm not aping in. I've been here for years, accumulating slowly with my time and attention. That's always been my advice. And that's my advice even now, whether it's today, tomorrow, or in 5 years. Build the account through your time and attention and watch what happens. But Vishal says, they must list SPS on Coinbase as BTC already on bull run and no significant change in SPS value. So I just want to talk about the major market listings. If we were to get on Binance, for instance, or Coinbase, often those big exchanges have to pay, you have to pay a ton of your token to make that happen. First of all, that's a value, that's a cost to somebody, to either the DAO, which is us, the game. We might have to pay it out of our pocket. And I would say for any of the, for a Coinbase listing or for a Binance listing, I bet we don't have the fundage to make that happen. I bet even in the DAO, I think there's 5 million or something in the DAO last I heard, something like that. Even with the sales that are going to come out of Rebellion, and that might multiply it by another $2 or $3 or $4 or $5 million, depending on how many Rebellion packs we sell. Unless we're just going to empty the coffers, because I think you really are talking millions of dollars to get listed on a Coinbase or a Binance. So I firstly don't know that we have the value. Second of all, so it's not even up to us, is maybe what I'm saying. But then I also want to address the comment from a different angle. I don't know that this is often a common thread. People feel if we just got listed on a Binance or we got listed on Coinbase or a major market, we would see a pump. That's not been my experience across the history of crypto. What is more accurately or more likely to be expected from such a coin listing would be probably a 20% pump, maybe even who knows, you could get, I would expect a short term, literally day of pump, or the news happens, we're getting listed on Coinbase tomorrow, and there would be a substantive pump that day. But that is just a FOMO moment where people are what? It's going on Coinbase. And it's always this overreaction that gets magnified. And there are bots trading into that, by the way, that make that move even bigger. And then ultimately it just settles down and usually falls to at the same point or below. And by the way, that's usually something that's front run by the exchange themselves, meaning, and I don't have access to the book, so don't get me wrong. This is a bit of tinfoil hat moment maybe, but this is my expectation and belief. What happens in these things is, company A goes to Binance and says, hey, or let's just say Splinterlands goes to Binance and says, hey, we want to be listed on Binance. Okay, Binance needs $10 million to do that, paid in SPS token. Okay, let's say we wanted to do that, and I don't think we should, but let's say we did. We then transfer the SPS to them, and the listing isn't, right away. It's not like as soon as you pay that bill. It's all set up in such a way where they can front run the trade. So that you now fill their coffer with SPS, and guess what they're doing when that announcement happens? When that announcement happens, they're selling into your buying pressure. And so the pump is happening, and Binance or the Coinbase or whichever exchange you're imagining is taking advantage of that FOMO, of that excitement, and they are selling on your heads 100%. Like, just for a fact, that's happening. Again, I have no way to prove it, but man, it seems so obvious to me. And that's why these announcements they happen like tomorrow, it's happening or whatever. And because they want to create this like anticipation, this excitement. They don't give you like 4 weeks notice, 8 weeks notice, a month, 6 months. And like, we're going to list, we don't want anyone to go crazy. We want to be reasonable and patient. So we're getting 6 months, we're going to be listed. That would be like, there'd be too much time to think about it. But when they drop a news bomb like tomorrow or today at noon, it's happening, people go crazy. And they think, moon, it's happening, adoption, the massive amount of community that is going to see our token now and be interested suddenly, which to me is just mostly, it's a sales pitch. I don't buy most of that. I think it's, there's some truth to it. Yes, it would be awesome to have those listings, but man, for the ticket price that it would cost, it's too much usually. Second of all, we don't have the money. Third of all, it would have this temporary impact, which might be great for you as an SPS token holder. But if you miss that pump, like you're not ready and you're trying to unstake and you think in 4 weeks time when you unstake all your coins, you're going to enjoy the benefit of that. I don't think that's the case. So I'm not saying I don't want to be on those listings. I'm just saying I don't actually think that the narrative around a major market listing is actually accurate. People think it would change the world. It would massively impact SPS or your favorite alt. And I don't really buy it. And historically, I always saw, this has happened lots of times in my time here in crypto, you'd see a pump, but it would come right back down and sometimes lower than it was before. So anyways, that's what I feel about it. So I definitely don't want to throw millions at something like that. I would love to be listed on one of those exchanges. It would make it easier to just exit at one point in the future, but we'll get there. Once we are more attractive to them, like Matt has said, like Agro used to say, we want to be, attractive enough that they come looking for our partnership, not the other way around. That's the path to doing it without, the huge ticket, the huge price tag. I'm going to do a quick one on this one, but this is there's so little here that I don't know exactly what Adam's at, but this is the old school video that I rewatched yesterday after I saw this comment. This is one of my videos one of my first videos that really blew up, and there's like 25,000 views on that or something. I called it spend $30, earn $50,000, Splinterlands, rent to win day one. And in this video, I go ahead and I spend $30 on DEC to then buy or rent cards that I can then use to play at a high level in Splinterlands. Now, this was when the game paid DEC for play. And so my argument was that you could earn that back, like literally that was sustainable. You could rent those cards for free, play at a high level, and then unlock reward cards that were, at the time were not soulbound and had carried a value. And like I said, earn DEC. And there absolutely was a profitable thing to do. And I think still is. You got to have a long vision for it, because you have to understand that SPS will one day be more than 1.4 cents. And you have to understand that soulbound cards will be transferable. And if you have that like long-term vision for Splinterlands, even today, this method works. So I actually stand by what I said in this video. And although I don't do it because I don't have enough time to manage multiple accounts, if somebody had more time, they could invest that time and attention, which is what we always talk about, to make that money grow. It's like they say in real estate, you buy other people's problems. That's where profits come from. Like you buy somebody's old, house that's in trouble, it needs renovation or repair. If you buy that, you're going to get a discounted price on the cost of that home. But then you come in, you put sweat equity in. It's the same idea with Splinterlands. You put in your time and attention. You spend your daily efforts, like every day here, earning soulbound reward cards in SPS, and those can be significant across a long enough time horizon. And so that's what I was saying there. And I see over here, Adam goes, this aged well. I suspect sarcasm, but man, I think it's 100% has aged well. The only thing that I could give to like a guy like Adam who might not really believe is like the soulbound cards today have no price, right? They have no value. That's what some people say. But I'd say those soulbound cards, which are non-transferable today, carry a high value. They just don't have a price tag currently. But that will change in time. So, man, the SPS we're getting paid matters. One day it will appreciate. The soulbound cards we're getting paid today matter. They just currently are non-transferable. And so to me, absolutely, the same model applies. And that's why I haven't stopped playing, man, every single day. In fact, I play now more than ever. I want to do one more because that just felt like a little bit of almost a throwaway. Let's talk on this one. Green 5454, talking about old cards are obsolete and worthless. Now, of course, the title's a bit of clickbait. That is what some people seem to think. Old cards are, they're obsolete and it's a scam when Rebellion comes out because like now I got to buy this new pack and Untamed that I spent money on is circulating out of Modern and I'm frustrated by that. That's the tone of what this video was. And Green 5454 says, why don't they allow to exchange a certain number of cards for a new pack? This will greatly decrease the number of cards in circulation and will make the price of the card go higher. Example, 10 cards, 1 new pack. This will be a great deal. So I actually like this idea, but not the math you show. And that's fine. You're just throwing out an example, I suspect. But you'd have to make it, it'd have to be like, okay, so put it this way. When I was a kid, I used to buy and sell Marvel action cards. Like these are Marvel cards. They were collectible cards, and they would show you like Spider-Man, and it would show you like his speed is 6 out of 10 and his strength is 8 out of 10 or whatever. And I remember loving looking at this. It was like my favorite. I also collected baseball, basketball, hockey cards, and I just love data analysis in this way. And so to me, and one thing about what I would do when I'd go to my local comic book shop and buy these is they would have like a pack of these on the table, and you could just, if you wanted to trade 2 of your doubles in, they would give you any one card from their box. And so there was like an exchange rate that was profiting the comic book shop that was putting twice, right? They were getting 2 for 1, 2 for the one they're paying out. And for this to make sense to me, we would have to do something where it was like burning a financial value of cards that outweighed the pack price. So I don't know how exactly to do that. And I've seen other ideas, and this has been proposed. And I love something like this. One day in the future, I think this has to happen. In fact, Matt has said this will happen. I think he said in January, there's going to be a great burning. And that'll be something the team will put together. And it might include some Riftwatcher reward packs that have come from the DAO that'll be part of the reward system. But this is coming. And it just needs to be thought through in a logical way. Like if you said 10 cards, I'd bird 10 common cards for 10 cents and get $1 pack. And that's going to be pack inflation for whether that's you're getting a Chaos Legion pack out of the DAO, or whether that's like you're getting a Riftwatcher pack or a Rebellion pack. Like that would be massive Rebellion card pack inflation. Because remember, although there's like 10 million Rebellion packs, we're burning some every day. So it's probably at most we're ever going to see is like 4 or 5 million are going to be sold. The rest are going to be burned. And that's if it's an amazing success. That's what I believe is to be true. But then if you came out and you said you could burn 10 cents worth of cards to get a pack, you're going to see a ton of cards being burned. You're right. But you're going to see a ton of Rebellion pack card sales. And that's actually going to be an inflation for the total supply of Rebellion. Because right now we're imagining 4 or 5 million are going to reach the system. But then in this kind of scenario, you've created 10-cent packs, and now they're all going to sell out. And that's great if you want Rebellion cards, but it's terrible if you want Rebellion cards to have a great price. And lastly, it's great to delete other cards, but you're only talking about, like, again, this mechanism would have to be logical. You can't just 10 cards is like 10 cents if it's commons, 10 cards is maybe $8 if it's legendaries. It has to be more of a thoughtful breakdown. And this is happening. Follow Matt, listen to the town squares, town halls, and you're going to hear more about this. They said in January, or they didn't say January. They said in early 2024. So January to March, something like this will happen, Green. And I love the idea, but yeah, it's got to be thoughtful. It's got to be the unintended consequences need to be considered, because if we, for instance, hand out Rebellion packs for a process like this, we need to recognize that that's going to put more Rebellion packs into circulation, which is going to diminish the total value of Rebellion packs as well as Rebellion cards, as well as rental profits on Rebellion cards, because more supply equals less cost, more supply equals left profit on the assets. Not saying it's a bad idea, just saying we got to think it through. Love the comments, guys. I hope you have an amazing day. God bless.